Hi guys, I'm Anissa and I'm back with another video. Today I want to share with you a Monday read because I haven't done one of these in ages and I want to get back to planning out my reading for a week, and I haven't been doing that for the past couple of weeks because of different things. I don't know why. However, we're back to trying to planning it, but first I want to talk about the books that I've been finishing over the last week because I've actually finished 4 books. So I'm going to talk to you about them today, and then I'm going to be talking about my plans for the next week and what I'm currently working on and all of that. So by starting off with the things that I finished, the first thing that I finished over the past weeks was The Gunpowder Moon by David Pedreira. I think that's how you pronounce the name. This is a book that's set on the moon, and we're following this murder mystery that happened on the moon and stuff like that. I had a really hard time actually getting into the book. It just never really clicked with me, and I don't know, it wasn't one that really worked for me, so I ended up actually only giving it out at 2 stars. I think it's something to do with it sort of being a little too explaining things that was going on, so it lost me there, because I don't know, I don't mind that there's some, obviously there has to be some explanation as to how things are working and why the things are doing science and stuff. But I don't want it to overtake too much in terms of plot and characters, because then I'm going to fall out, because I'm going to just stop listening for a bit. And I need there to be a sort of good balance of things, and there wasn't in this one. And I don't know, it just didn't work for me at all. I feel like I don't get what was going on in the book at all. So I gave it 2 stars because I just didn't get it. And I'm not saying that this isn't something that you should pick up, it's just I don't know what was going on in there. So yeah. The next thing that I finished was The Alloy of Law by Sanderson. This is the 4th book set in the Discworld. It's a sort of a, you can read the first 3 books in the Mistborn and get a completed trilogy, but this is set 150 200 years in the future. I'm not completely certain about it, but way into the future, and we're following some new characters. And in this one it's sort of we're following these 2 characters called Wex and Wayne. They were they used to be these lawmen trying to protect the city or the people outside of the city, sort of, so trying to protect them from things that were happening outside the city. But Wex is actually part of this wealthy family. He's part of the noble society. And so after some passing in his family, he has to go home and take over his family estate and sort of run that. And he's trying to do that, but when these robberies start happening on this train, he just can't let it go, and he wants to go and find out what's going on, and he wants to try and save everyone, especially when sort of people that he has started to come to know gets abducted, and he wants to figure out what's going on and has to be a part of this. And we have Wayne is another lawman, obviously, and he's just this really curious character that seems to change his appearance all the time, and I really enjoyed him. So they have a really good banter between them. And then we also have this girl named, let's see, she must be Marasi, who is also part of the gang quite quickly. She's sort of a big fan of Maximilian and sort of wants to figure out his deal and who he is behind all of this. And yeah, it becomes a really interesting story, and I really enjoyed seeing the magic system sort of set in a different timeline, so you can see it's much more advanced. That really worked for me. So overall, I really enjoyed this one. It wasn't as good as the Mistborn books. The best of the Mistborn books were really good, but it was a lot of fun, so I'm definitely going to be continuing with it, so I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And today I actually finished 2 books. So the first one I finished was Lone Wolf Lawman by Delores Fossen. This is the first book that I was reading for the Intrigue Harlequin project, and I just finished it today. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. The intrigues are very, very entertaining. You're just get thrown into this very high stakes kind of book from the get-go, and I enjoyed it for that. The romance itself wasn't my favorite, and the characters in it wasn't my favorite. but I enjoyed the story overall, so I think I'm ending up on a 3.5 out of 5 stars, but you definitely can hear more about this in my vlog that's coming up on the intrigue in the nearest future, as I'm currently working through them, and I'm starting on the second book later today. So that is the third book that I finished, and the fourth book I finished over the past week was Undercurrent by Nora. This is a standalone book. It's set in this small town, I forgot what it was called. Okay, before I get into what this is about, you have to definitely know that there's big triggers for domestic abuse to kids. So if that's something that really will trigger you, then stay clear of this, because the first, I would say, I was listening to the audio, but I would guess it's about 100 pages of the book were really, really rough, and you saw this parent figure really, actually both parent figures in this boy's life, completely neglecting them, and physical abuse as well as emotional abuse, everything that you don't want kids to experience, that happened. And it's so set far many years later, when this guy who was the abused comes back into this town after having sort of he's taken a degree in law and has been working at this big law firm, but now wants to go back and actually work. Okay, I was trying to talk about the Nora book. We'll see if my battery holds. It's flashing at me. Anyway, so we're following him after he comes back to the city after having had a job. He wants to go slow down. He wants to be working more on smaller cases and working with family stuff, making wills and stuff for people, and in that way helping out the smaller communities. And so he comes back, and he has this woman trying to decorate his office. She has a lot of baggage as well, and things happens. And then there are things that happens. It's so many years into the future, and now her dad, who was convicted and sent to prison early on, is actually out for a trial, probate, because of being a good inmate or whatever. He is out on a trial basis, and obviously things happen. But I don't know what about is this. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I have always had fun reading a Nora Roberts book, mostly because I really love her way of creating the characters and stuff. And there's always, I like her suspensey moments as well. But in this one, the different suspensey moments weren't necessarily connected. There were so many different things that were happening. It was a little bit confusing. But it all came together at the end. I think I'm on about a 4 out of 5 stars for this one. I haven't actually sat down and thought about my rating, but I think that's where I'll land. So yeah, but I did finish that one now, and I'm happy about that. Now we're getting into books that I'm currently working on. So I made progress on Selfies by Lawman just today. I was listening to a little bit more. I am about, I would say, 60% into the book, and enjoying it still. So I definitely hope that I'll finish it over the next coming week, so that I can have it finished by the next weekend. Another one I am currently working on is Kiss of the Night by Sheldon Kenyon. I'm working on this as a buddy read with Shannon, and we are currently like 4 chapters in, plus a prologue. So it's up to about a third of the book that has been read by now. But we're taking it slow. We're just taking a chapter at a time and trying to discuss it. And there's a day or so that goes, and then we go pick up another chapter, and that's sort of how it works for us. So that's what I'm working on, and then I want to start today A Deadly Cover Up by Julia and Lindsay. I'm super excited about this one because I know this is like everyone's favorite in the intrigue line, or just in the suspensey books. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I just downloaded it to my Kindle, and I can start it tonight, I'm hoping. I don't know how far I'll get into it, so I haven't written down how many pages I'm going to read for the next week. I'm filming this on Sunday because I don't know if I can sit down and film on tomorrow when I get home. And so yeah, those are the 3 books that I'm intending on being in the process of reading. I also intend to read on in Selfies today, so I don't know how many pages that's going to be. But the things that I want to start and finish next week is, one of them is Of Spice and Men by Sarah Fox. This is the 3rd book in the pancake house mystery. I really would like to get into a cozy mystery. I feel like right now instead of going into another fantasy. And then I put off to read The Secrets of Sloane Square. I put another book on my TBR for the month, but actually, or it was a possibility if I was in the mood for that kind of thing. But actually that was a third in the series, and you know how it is with me, I can't start a book series like with a third of the book in the series. So I had to start with the first one, and that's this one. So I'm looking forward to trying this one out to see how it goes. And I'm actually hoping by next weekend that I'll be finished with all of the intrigue books. So I also hope that I will end up reading Wyoming Cowboy Justice, which is the last book of the intrigue books, which is by Nicole Helm. This is also the first in the series. If I like these intrigue novels, I have so many books to get on with. They're all starts to a series, so I'm really looking forward to that. Anyway, those are my plans for the next week. Let me know in the comments down below how your reading has been going over the past week. Do you have any exciting reading plans for the last week of March here into April? Let me know in the comments down below what you're planning for the week, and if you have I've read in the books that I've been talking about today. I'll also always like to know your thoughts on them, if you agree with them, my thoughts. And yeah, if you like the video, please give a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.